Hey guys, it's Kim and today I will be reviewing Volume 1 of The Flash, the New 52. Now this start to The Flash's comics, definitely going to give it a 5 out of 5. I really liked it. It was easy to follow. Though it wasn't a complete reboot, as much of the New 52 isn't really doing a huge reboot. Barry Allen has been The Flash for 5 years, so they explain that at the beginning, which is really good. So if you're a non-Flash reader and you don't know a lot about the Flash, they do explain his powers, and they also explain a lot about like his villains and the characters in the series, so it really does bring you up to speed quite quickly. Now the art in this is really interesting. It's simple, yet it's really effective. Some pages are quite simply drawn and some of them have a lot of detail in them. So I really like how they've done this because it really connects with the story, especially when the Flash is using his powers. They use a lot of detail on the lightning and his running ability and everything like that. Whereas when he's just Barry Allen and talking to other characters, the art's very simple and very, I don't want to say pretty, but it's very attractive. The art is very attractive and I really like that about it. So some of the simpler art, if you can see, is here. So we've just got sort of simple art when he's talking to just normal characters in the series such as that. Though when he is fighting people and using his Flash lightning powers in his running, it actually gets a lot more complicated, and this is probably one of my favorite sequences in the book. The art just looks fantastic, the coloring is great, and it just looks great. I'm just really excited about the art in this, and when I was reading it, it was just a treat to read, to be honest. Now the main reason why I like to collect trades rather than the single issues is because number one, it's much easier to read, it's cheaper, and you actually get a lot of special features and stuff in the volume, such as like page layouts and some variant artists. So I also got to get a variant cover of The Flash by Jim Lee, who's my favorite artist, and oh, it's just fantastic. And I don't know if you got this in the single issues, but I always get something by Jim Lee in some of the New 52 trades, so I'm really excited about just picking these up. Now, I think the villains in this started off pretty simplistic, so as to if you have just started reading The Flash, you'll understand a lot about what's going on. The first villain, or sort of anti-villain that we saw, was Manuel Iago, who is a lifelong friend of Barry Allen. So it was interesting to see the dynamic between him trying to stop him because he thinks he's doing, you know, evil doings in the city, and the fact that he's his friend and he really wants to help him. So what happens is that he's actually cloned, and all of these clones are dying and they need parts of Manuel to stay alive. But what happened is when they were trying to do the experiments, they actually destroyed all the power in the city, and you know, people on life support and other things that need power are just in danger, and the Flash has to go around and help everybody, but everyone seems to think it's his fault, which kind of sucks. So while the Flash is going around to help people, Barry Allen also has to go around and do his duties as a forensic, I think he's a forensic scientist in this, and make sure he's helping people in the police department, where you've also got him trying to find Manuel because he's on the run from these clones who are trying to capture him and just experiment on him and stuff like that. So there's so much going on at the very beginning, which is really great to read. Now, I didn't know a lot about this before, but now I've learned a little bit more about the Speed Force power that they've been talking about throughout this comic. So it seems that the Flash's powers get to a certain type of energy that they pick up things like objects or, you know, time sequences or something from the past and actually take them out of their own timeline and trap them somewhere, like in this thing called a Speed Force. So that was interesting to read because I did not know about this. I always thought some people have sort of weaknesses, and this seems to be a big one for the Flash, because if he uses all of this power, he just disrupts the timeline of events, which creates these vortexes and could basically destroy life as we know it. So that was interesting to see him battling with that, as well as trying to help people and using his energy, trying to keep it down. The second villain we see is Captain Cold. Now, I don't know a lot about Captain Cold, but if you're reading the comic, they really do delve into his past, and he's got a sister who's on life support, and it was hugely affected by the blackout in the city. So he's trying to get back at the Flash and sort of you know, attacking him when the Flash is trying to keep his energy levels down. But then, you know, his Iris West is being chucked in one direction, and his girlfriend at the moment, who is Patty, is being chucked in another direction. And, you know, he's just got so many people to save, and his energy levels have gone over the top, and he's actually created the vortex, which has sucked Iris into a different reality, and he has to go find her. So the comic ends at this stage, and on a little bit of a cliffhanger, so I'm glad I went out and bought volume 2. If you haven't read this comic, it is really good. It's not a huge big storyline where you're like, oh my god, what's going on? It's simple, but it's entertaining, which is really good. Now, I've always known the Flash being connected to Iris West because she's just been like sort of the Lois Lane to his Flash, so that's what I've always expected. So it was interesting to see in this comic that he wasn't actually dating her, and there weren't any romantic, well, to me they didn't seem like there was a huge amount of romantic connection between him and her. So I found out he was dating this scientist named Patty, and she's a fellow police scientist, which is interesting. But she sort of actually reminds me, if everyone is watching Arrow at the moment, she sort of reminds me of Felicity, which is really interesting because I think, is that what they're trying to do for the Flash TV series, sort of connect this together? So I really like that dynamic going on. I'm hoping to see Iris with Barry later on, but having this start off is actually pretty interesting to see a progression into Iris's relationship, because I was a little worried because it wasn't a complete reboot, we wouldn't get to see them gradually connect with each other. It was just like, okay, here's Barry and he's dating Iris, here's the Flash, go. That's what I thought it would be, but it wasn't, which is great. Now, as I said at the beginning, I definitely give this a 5 out of 5 stars. I thought I would probably like the Flash when I picked it up, but I was pleasantly surprised to find that I liked it even more than I thought I would, which was really great. So if you haven't read this, go pick up the volume. The volume's so much easier to read, and I definitely suggest picking it up and reading it. That is all for the review today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.